It's 3:30. I'd like to call the County Board of Commissioners together. We could rise for an invocation, please. Let us pray. Lord, as we deliberate today, give us the wisdom necessary to make decisions that will benefit all of our citizens, both now and into the future. And also keep in mind former Commissioner Luke Hollins as he recovers from a recent health issue back home and getting better, I guess. And as always, please watch over those who watch us and protect us both here and abroad. Amen. Amen.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, ma'am.
Commissioner Cross.
Here.
Commissioner Darasinski.
Here.
Commissioner Engel.
Here.
Commissioner Hughes.
Here.
Chairman Mahoney.
Here.
Commissioner Nash. Commissioner Sable.
Here.
Commissioner Skolnick.
Here.
Vice Chairman Wilkins.
Here.
9 present, Mr. Chairman.
Approval of the agenda as presented. So moved. Second. Moved by Commissioner Darasinski, second by Commissioner Collins to approve the agenda as presented. Cross. Pardon. Come on. I'm in a hurry. Star. Okay. Any discussion? If not, all those in favor signify by saying yes.
Yes.
Those opposed, no. Motion carries. 6, the approval of the minutes of February 12th, 2013.
So moved. Second.
Moved by Commissioner Skolnick, seconded by Commissioner Wilkins to approve the minutes of February 12th. Any changes, discussion, concerns? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying yes.
Yes.
Suddenly I have a voice. Okay. Those opposed, no. Motion carries. You're now at the point of the meeting for persons to address the commission on an agenda item. Anyone wishing to address the commission on an agenda item? Seeing none, we can move on. Communication, we have none. Committee reports. Community Development and Strategic Planning Committee. Commissioner Skolnick.
Mr. Chairman, the Community Development and Strategic Planning Committee met on February 21st, 2013. It was recommended, and I move CD/SP 13/02-03.
Support.
And moved by Commissioner Skolnick and supported by Commissioner Cross to approve the Community Development and Strategic Planning Committee report of February 21. Any discussion? Seeing none, roll call, Madam Clerk.
Commissioner Darasinski.
Yes.
Commissioner Engel.
Yes.
Commissioner Hughes.
Yes.
Commissioner Nash.
Yes.
Commissioner Sable.
Yes.
Commissioner Skolnick.
Yes.
Vice Chairman Wilkins.
Yes.
Commissioner Cross.
Yes.
Chairman Mahoney.
Yes.
9 yes.
That completes your report, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Commissioner Skolnick. Commissioner Wilkins, Transportation Committee.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The Transportation Committee met on February 21st, 2013. It was recommended, and I move TR 130204 through TR 130207.
Support.
Moved by Commissioner Wilkins and supported by Commissioner Hughes to approve the Transportation Committee report of February 21. Any discussion? Seeing none, roll call, Madam Clerk.
Commissioner Engel.
Yes.
Commissioner Hughes.
Yes.
Commissioner Nash.
Yes.
Commissioner Sable.
Yes.
Commissioner Skolnick.
Yes.
Vice Chairman Wilkins.
Yes.
Commissioner Cross.
Yes.
Commissioner Darasinski.
Yes.
Chairman Mahoney.
Yes.
9 yes.
Motion carries.
That completes my report, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Now on to the Ways and Means Committee report. Commissioner Darasinski.
Mr. Chair, the Ways and Means Committee met February 21st, 2013. It was recommended, and I move to approve WM 13/02, 14, 16, 17, 18, and 19.
Support.
Okay. It's been moved by Commissioner Derazinski, supported by Commissioner Cross, to approve the Ways and Means Committee report of February 21. Any discussion? Seeing none, roll call, Madam Clerk.
Commissioner Hughes.
Yes.
Commissioner Nash.
Yes.
Commissioner Sable.
Yes.
Commissioner Skolnick.
Yes.
Vice Chairman Wilkins.
Yes.
Commissioner Cross.
Yes.
Commissioner Derazinski.
Yes.
Commissioner Engel.
Yes.
Chairman Mahoney.
Yes.
9 yes.
Mr. Chair, WM 13/02-15, that motion was tabled, and that concludes my report.
Thank you. Okay, under my report, we have a Jail and Transition Committee, Citizens Review Committee appointments. The term will be ending on December 31st, 13. And I put a list there of those folks.
I'll make a motion that we concur with your recommendations.
Second.
Okay, moved by Commissioner Derazinski, seconded by Commissioner Nash to concur with those appointments and recommendations for the Citizens Review Committee. Any discussion?
I'm wondering why the date 2/31/13, the jail be built by that date?
No,
Okay.
just a year term.
Okay.
Okay, and we need to vote. All those in favor signify by saying yes.
Yes.
Those opposed, the same. Well, not yes, but no. Okay. Motion carries. Board planning session, I had two suggested dates. One of them is the 5th, one of them is the 12th. I tried the 5th. Some of us have a water policy committee meeting at 2 o'clock up here. So probably it would be better for the 12th from my point of view.
I'll make a motion that,
I thought it was the other way around. Maybe I just have my dates wrong. I thought the 12th was the water policy.
Well, let me look for sure. Maybe I do have it there. March 5th is a Tuesday. And the following Tuesday, the 12th, would be, you're right, the 2nd. So it'd be the 5th would be the one that would be.
Okay.
need a motion to set a special meeting? Or it wouldn't be a meeting, it would just be a
Planning session. What I'm suggesting is that we do that as on the 5th because of the water policy. I don't think I need a motion.
It'll show up on our iPad.
You don't want to raise it. Thank you. The budget kickoff meeting is Thursday, March 7th, noon at Merrick. Lunch followed by the budget presentation.
What's our role there, if I may, Mr. Chair?
Our role is to be involved in getting all of the directors and everyone to be aware of the fact and have a good knowledge of what's going on.
There were several emails in regard to that.
The budget process this year will be, the functional budget teams will be meeting in advance of the budget kickoff. And then all of the groups, the teams and their sub-teams will come together with the County Board of Commissioners. And it will be a lunch, and then we'll talk about what we face for 2014, and also talk about the facilitation at the other groups prior to that meeting. 7th.
Budget kickoff 7th.
We also have a Ways and Means Committee that day.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's in advance of the
It's
Ways
in
and
advance,
Means.
okay.
Yeah,
This
so
is
it'll be
this is
over.
at noon.
Yeah.
And that too will appear, I'm trying slowly
Yes,
to use
yes.
my iPad.
That will be on your iPads.
Yeah.
Okay. And D is the St. Patrick's Day Parade, as to whether or not the commission wished to participate in that by getting, I'm assuming, the trolley. Is anyone interested?
Did we do that last year? Was that?
We did.
We did,
We did.
but the weather was real
I was
nice.
just gonna say, the weather's not very good.
Real nice.
Last year was beautiful.
Yeah, but I'm guessing just in 2 weeks it's not very good. Of course, you never know. It isn't in Michigan, you never know.
You got a plow truck?
Discussion is whether you want to do that or not.
Could we postpone that decision out a little ways and see what the weather, or do we need to know now?
Probably should know now.
I'm unavailable for that time, D, for whatever it's worth.
But
Yeah.
we're trying to decide if we're gonna put the trolley there.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Well, Bonnie's in charge of the weather, right?
Well, then we better go. I would make a motion to authorize the trolley weather, yeah, depending on how the weather is.
I'll support that.
Moved and seconded to participate in the St. Patrick's Day Parade based on weather.
I don't know what difference the weather's gonna make.
No,
They're gonna be in the trolley. Worse with the people that aren't.
We're a big.
I'm not really familiar with it.
They got heat.
Oh, okay. I'm thinking of in the summer where the kids are hanging out the windows, and I'm thinking that was gonna be.
We're hoping they're
like
going
last
to
year.
go hung out the windows.
So the point is to use the trolley to participate in the parade?
Unless you're gonna walk.
No. Might be raining.
As we say, the high holy days are upon us, so.
That's right.
So,
Okay, so we have a motion to do that. Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying yes.
Yes.
Those opposed, no. Motion carries. I do have two quick announcements I'd like to make. On behalf of the clerk, March 9th, we have a passport day for those wishing to leave the country from 10 a.m. to 2, and that is a Saturday. Then we have our Free County Parks Day on May 4th. There we go. And there's been quite a bit of literature floating around about that in terms of Twin Lake and Pioneer Park. With that, we're on to the administrator's report.
Thank you, Mr. Chair and County Board of Commissioners. I present to you for your consideration, accept creation of a commercial rehabilitation district at 316 Morris Avenue by the City of Muskegon.
So move. Second.
Moved by Commissioner Cross, seconded by Commissioner Sable to accept the creation of the commercial rehab district at 316 Morris, which is Terrace Plaza. Any discussion?
The workforce participants training, that's our workforce development people?
Is.
They're one and the same. Okay, thank you.
Commissioner Nash.
I had a question on the parcel piece because by the description given in our documents, I could not tell what area that covers. I don't know if that's just the Terrace Plaza building or is that more portions of downtown. So I didn't know if that answered or we had a map we can bring that up with or.
There is a representative here at the owner of the building who could answer questions if you have any of those questions.
Make a motion, we
Suspend the rules.
suspend the rules and let
Second. All those in favor signify, well, who seconded that?
I did.
Okay, Mr. Cross. All those in favor signify by saying yes.
Yes.
And those opposed, no. Motion carries. State your name, please.
Hi there, good afternoon. My name is Andy Wenzel. I'm with the Hinman Company, and we're the owner, the parent company to the owner entity of the Plaza building, and it is just that property. I'm just here to field if you do have any further questions, but we're happy to see a continued activity there, more vacancy being filled in the downtown, and we're encouraged by the activity that's happening not only there but in in the other building down by the marina that we own, the old SPX building, and things are moving in the right direction. So we thank you very much for your support.
Thank you.
Well, I do have a question, because I noticed some of the streets mentioned other streets that don't seem to be right at the building. That's what my concern was. If you look on here, it mentions several different streets, which includes Morris, let me go back, Jefferson.
I can comment to the, I haven't reviewed this legal description on your agenda today.
Right. And that's my concern, is that without a map, I don't know what this describes.
Right, again, the intent and the application made was for the plaza building in itself, where Michigan Works will be. So if there is any error in that, we would correct it, of course, if you, again, the intent
You're
is just
only
that
looking
building.
for the record, you're only looking for just the area surrounding that building itself.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
And what do you intend to do with that? I think it was 450,000 to that building?
Yes, that's for the build-out for the Michigan Works
Yeah.
project.
Okay.
That's the investment, the ownership investment into the building.
But nothing to the existing?
Not currently, but this will help, we hope that this will help stimulate more occupancy and more investment into the building.
Your occupancy rate?
We're at about 50% with this new tenant, so we have a ways to go. We're working on it, though.
Any other questions? Thank you.
Thank you.
The motion to go back into
So moved.
Second.
seconded, moved by Commissioner Cross, seconded by Commissioner Nash to go back into regular session. All those in favor signify by saying yes.
Yes.
Those opposed, the same. Motion carries. And now we're back to the motion concerning the creation of the rehab district for 1316 Morris Avenue. Any further discussion? Why don't we do a roll call? Roll call.
Commissioner Nash,
Yes.
Commissioner Sable,
Yes.
Commissioner Skolnick,
Yes.
Vice Chairman Wilkins,
Yes.
Commissioner Cross,
Yes.
Commissioner Derasinski,
Yes.
Commissioner Engel,
Yes.
Commissioner Hughes,
Yes.
Chairman Mahoney,
Yes.
9 yes.
Motion carries.
That concludes my report.
Thank you, Madam Administrator. Now the agenda for old business. Anyone here having old business? Now new business. Anyone having new business to bring before us? Commissioner Stone.
You know, I just got this press release before I came here today, and I thought this was pretty cool that they are announcing, United Way is announcing that the 2013 Day of Caring site is going to be the Muskegon County Fairgrounds. So, and they've moved the date to June, so whatever work they're going to do out there would be done before the Muskegon County Fair. And the person's name on here that's co-chairing it is Chris Hall, who's the Dalton Township Supervisor. So it's good. I mean, that's a good thing. Usually, after those days of caring are done, whatever property or projects they work on look pretty good. So
Very good. Anyone else bring new business?
Just on that, that's been in the works for a while, and there's been cooperation with the Public Works Department and the Fair Board, and working back and forth together to get whatever help working together will bring forward.
Very good. Very good. That is good news. In addition to the good press that we got the last day or so concerning growth, economic growth in Muskegon County. Commissioner Nash.
Mr. Chair, I know we had talked about our appointees in one of our previous committees, and I'm thinking that it might be better for us to do a more of a formal vote to follow through with doing follow-up with our appointees. Again, like I mentioned, I think it's important that we make sure that our appointees to all our liaison boards and committees are upholding and making sure that they're there and supplying the support that they need for the citizens that we're looking for. So I'm hoping that we could support a possible motion to have a review sent out to the committee chairs to report appointees' attendance and quorums, and this information gets back to the commissioners by December 1st. That way we can review it as we move into the new year and make new appointments.
Is that in the form of a motion?
Yes, I'm making that formal as a motion.
I'll support that.
Nash, seconded by Commissioner Hughes. Now what you're looking for is a review process?
Correct. What we would request is request attendance and request quorums for all of our appointees November 1st to be reported back by December 1st so that we can get this information and review that before the new year. That way we can make any suggestions or recommendations regarding appointments for the new year. I believe most of them are at least a year, some of them are 2, but at least we'll have a 1-year review on all those appointments.
Chairman's responsibility to make the report, make the appointments. So are you suggesting then that that report goes to him?
Well, I'm suggesting that report goes to all the commissioners because we also approve those appointments.
And are you suggesting then also a attendance amount?
Well, that would be for us to discuss.
Any further discussion?
Are you talking about citizen appointments or the board as liaisons to different?
Well, I'm speaking more of our citizen appointments. We've had a lot of community and citizen appointments that have really not worked out. Some of them have not been involved or not been part of the meetings. Sometimes they have a hard time holding quorums because a certain amount of citizens are not there. And we're just trying to make sure that everyone is there. Boards are functioning like we need them to, and things are moving along with processes. But if people are not there, and it's for multiple reasons, but we want to make sure that those boards and those appointments are functioning. We have some cases where people have been appointed and never really showed to a meeting. And, you know, it's kind of hard to figure out how some of that happens, but it does happen. And we just haven't really had a process to fix it or correct it. And I think having a yearly review would be a great way to start, at least looking these things over, seeing how many meetings people are attending, seeing if that had an issue with the quorums. And then if there is no issue, I don't think there's anything to worry about. But I think we'll find out something that we might not have known, whereas with a lot of these cases, a lot of those things are not brought up, and we don't know until it comes around to the next appointment and someone says, well, hey, we need to replace so-and-so because they've never been at a meeting.
Any further discussion? Commissioner Jasinski.
I have some agreement, some disagreement. I do think they need to be accountable. I don't want to see us create something that is more red tape for these citizens committees who are volunteering their time when it's not quite clear exactly how this will pan out. And the one that comes to my mind is the Fair Board. Now they're all volunteers. They do a fantastic job. And they put in a lot of time. Now we're creating some piece of reporting procedure that might complicate and scare some people away. And if I had a document or a policy in front of me, just how this would work, it's kind of vague to me, sitting on a number of citizens group with commissioners and citizens. It just seems like we're creating some more difficulty for a lot of times volunteers. And I do believe that Mary tracks attendance at these because it says who is or isn't there, and if that's the issue, is just attendance. Maybe we ought to stick it to that because the minutes would reflect who's absent and not create more work for a bunch of individuals whom are already busy and not having something right in front of me. This is how it's going to work. Charles, I don't disagree with you because that bothers me. I sit on a lot of things and they may show up and may not. But bureaucracy is something I don't want to create more of. And, you know, how they perform when they show up, that's why we put them on there. So it seems to me the only issue is attendance. And I think that can be done very simply, but in this motion, I'm not comprehending just how that would work.
And I just want to clarify,
Commissioner Manager.
this, excuse me, Mr. Chair. I just want to clarify, this is not a process of accepting or rejecting someone. This is really just calling for a date and a time for review, which we don't do.
What are we reviewing?
Just reviewing attendance and quorums. That way, if anyone has any questions regarding any liaison board or appointments, they can ask that chair or the chairman or whatever, and we can get information prior to any new appointments that may come up. And again, this is probably not a huge problem, but I know we've had different scenarios where we've had boards and liaisons where this was partially an issue.
We're talking about liaisons. I'm sorry, Mr. Chair.
Well, I think that we did have a problem, it was quite evident with the Citizens Committee, because we got many complaints about attendance to that committee. And I know what you're trying to do, and I too would like to see how do we fix it, because the few that attended, many of them were upset because it started out as a big board, but then it dwindled down and sometimes they didn't have a quorum and a lot of them complained. And I think this is what I would like to see fixed, you know, because I don't want volunteers coming here and they're dedicating their time to us. They get here, they don't have a quorum, and then, you know, nothing gets done like it should be. And I think that that is a problem that needs to be addressed.
If I may, how many appointments and liaisons and commissions are out there? And if we're having trouble with one in particular, let's deal with that one and not create more paperwork. And I can't think of, I'm sitting on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I'm sitting on probably 10 or 11 or 12 different. And it doesn't seem, I did miss Tony's last meeting of the land bank, but I mean, if there's one that has a problem, let's address it. But there's so many of them out there. Let's not create work for everybody, because 1 or 2 of the 30 or so that we really have, if you look at it closely, the rest are probably functioning well.
Maybe, Charles, maybe we should ask the committee chairs to, at the end of the year, give us their assessment of the year's thing and their review, and if they have any recommendations for citizens to be replaced or vacancies to be filled, that, you know, rather than have them give us an attendance report.
I'm open to that. I think maybe even having that along with the attendance report would be just as well. But again, it's not a point of us deciding who's going to be there, who's not. It's just information that we normally don't get. We already collect it, so it's not extra work. It's just a point of, let's get that to the commissioners so the commissioners can review it. So as appointments are made in the future, if we have any questions or concerns, we can make that. But I don't have any information to go off of. But I do know of, you know, I know of 2 or 3 boards myself that's had issues with appointments. So it's just a point of putting that in there so that we can review it.
Commissioner Jaworski.
Are we creating board policy here?
I think
Yes, we are.
Sure we are.
We're creating board policy here. And we are reviewing the board policy for a couple of other issues. And as vague as this is to me, where I can only think of two where it's a problem. Actually, one. Let's fix that problem, not create more for others. And I
I'll just
I
withdraw my
believe-
motion. We can move forward. I'll withdraw my motion.
Let's try to
We'll just
address
keep
the
going
chair,
as we've been
please.
doing.
I'm sorry.
Let's address the chair.
Don't hit me.
I think it's probably some discussion we can have, and if we need to, I'll get with you, Charles, and we can come up with a written proposal, a notion, and as to where we want to go from there. Okay?
Mr. Chair, if I could just say, you know, there's a full board meeting today, and this proposal that you, or this issue that you brought forward, maybe there's some merit to it, I don't know. I've been at meetings where there weren't quorums. It's annoying. But if you're gonna bring something, and not just you, if anybody's gonna bring something like that forward, it seems like it should be talked about before we come to a full board meeting. At least with the chair or somebody, and you know, circulate it and get some opinions on it. Because that's more than we should decide right in 2 minutes.
Mr. Chair, I just want to comment because we brought this up before, and I'm just actually following some of the same things that Mr. Derazinski has done. We say things, but we never follow through with a date and a time. And I mentioned this in a committee meeting, that's why I brought it up, that it was mentioned in a committee meeting, but we just kind of sat on it. And unless we make motions and approvals, nothing gets done. And we do have a little bit of an issue there. It's not a big issue, but it's an issue. And I think for those boards that do have those issues, it's important enough for us to move forward and make some kind of decision to move forward. But just to block something, just to be blocking it and not move forward and make a decision to correct it, I think is the wrong thing to do.
I just have one comment. I know this is a surprise, but I do have to agree with Commissioner Skolnick that sometimes we need to discuss things more often. And I don't think we have enough board planning sessions where we can just sit down and talk about anything that we need to talk about. And I think maybe an occasional board planning session would benefit all of us, and things like this could come out and we could discuss it.
One last comment is, if I may, sir. Okay, you know, we have these committees, and I want to reiterate what Mr. Skolnick says. We have these committees, and the purpose of having these, I believe, in my estimation, discussed at the committee level. Discussed, not necessarily brought up, discussed, put on the agenda, discussed, is that everything has a chance to be gone over twice. The citizens that sit out here, you want to comment on a new agenda item. You want to comment on today's agenda item. Didn't give any of them out there the opportunity because it wasn't sitting on or didn't ever sit on an agenda. And Charles, I don't disagree with you. I just want to see what the mechanics are going to look like. Okay?
Are we done? Okay, Charles has, you withdrew the motion. Did we have a second?
I seconded it.
You second.
I will be happy to withdraw.
Okay, so any other new business? Not, we're at a point in the agenda for public comment from members of the audience on a new topic.
My name is Jim Riley. Charles Nash, thank you very much. It's a breath of fresh air. I think that what we need more in this county, and it's only 4:05, it's only a 35-minute meeting so far. What we need more in this county is more open discussion that people can understand and hear, and thankfully we are videoing it so people can watch it at a later date. As an interested citizen and as someone who has communicated extensively with other interested citizens, I have attended meetings that have been canceled without warning. I've attended meetings, citizen meetings, where the venue had been changed without notification to those who weren't on the board itself. I've attended, or I've heard of meetings where people have attended, but their volunteer time and effort to attend meetings, and there was not a quorum. And I know, as Commissioner Wilkins has suggested, there have been people who stood in front of you and said, hey, I'm unhappy because I'm going to these meetings and no one else cares. I would care more about those people who have attended the meetings rather than those who have not. You have not only the authority to put people on these boards and to take them off, you have the responsibility to monitor the results of your authority. And it seems to me you have a choice. Do you want more citizen involvement? And if you do, you need to be involved in making sure that those committees that you created and that you staffed and that you do, I believe, have a responsibility to monitor, that those committee meetings have value. And as Commissioner Derazinski suggested, he doesn't even know, you don't even know how many committees you've even got out there, much less reviewing the notes, the minutes that are already being made. It seems to me you have a responsibility to those volunteers in our community to make sure that those meetings are being handled in a professional manner. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else wishing to comment?
It's a different topic, is that?
That's fine. Or anything?
I was in the county clerk's office doing some research. Kay Deuster and Sue Morpath. And we have been trying to get as many veterans' graves as we can in Muskegon County marked and on the record. And we are running into some problems. There's no accountability in many of the cemeteries. Some are run by the city, some are run by the townships, some are privately owned. One cemetery in particular, there are 65 unmarked graves of veterans because of hidden costs. That's not right. I don't know if you could help us. I'm hoping somebody can help us. We've talked to people at the state level. Yes.
Tomorrow, may I? Sure. Tomorrow at 2 o'clock, and we're very involved. Our Muskegon County Department of Veteran Affairs is deeply involved in that. We meet tomorrow at 2 o'clock.
Where?
Over that building over there. What's it up? Sorry, it's on the south campus.
The Veterans Affairs building?
Pardon me?
Veterans Affairs?
Yes, and we meet at 2 o'clock, and I've been out there. We've got big tubs of flags, and we have volunteers, but you hit it right.
I've worked with the different VFWs.
Yeah, you hit it right on the head. Some cemeteries don't cooperate. But you may I suggest that? Because they're deeply involved in that.
I've been there many times there for very little help.
Pardon me?
They're not very cooperative at the Veterans Affairs.
Right across here. There'll be several of us there tomorrow.
Okay.
Okay?
All right.
2 o'clock.
2 o'clock.
Yeah.
All right. It was just suggested to us that we get our name and our cause on the record.
Mrs. Deuster, would you like to give us an example of what is happening in some of the areas about the stones?
What's happening is all of a sudden for years they could put down a cement slab which costs $25 to $35, which is in the majority of the cemeteries they still charge. At this particular cemetery, all of a sudden you have to have a $1,000 piece of marble to put on the ground to put a marker on it. And that's why the 65 graves are not marked. And I've talked to them about grandfathering it, at least getting those old stones, down. I don't even know where the markers are. They blame the undertakers blame him, and we're just kind of, I just want the graves marked.
I know what cemetery you're talking about.
Is that a private cemetery?
Yes, it is. And we don't have any jurisdiction, but please. But we'll talk about it at committee tomorrow.
All right, I'll be there, 2 o'clock.
Anyone else? Thank you.
May I introduce a gentleman that's in the crowd? He's in a graduate program.
Hang on.
Okay.
We'll do that.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Okay, I got it. Any other public comment before we get to that part? I do have some elected officials here. Mr. Dave Keefe, Supervisor of Muskegon Township, and Debbie Ackerman, Eggleston Township. And
Prosecutor.
the prosecutor, all those folks are here, treasurer, the whole tribe is here, sheriff. But I want to get to Mr. Harris.
Yes, sir.
If you would come to the podium, you're a student?
Yes, sir. I graduate social work at Grand Valley. And I'm pleased to be here. Thank you for the opportunity to sit in on a board meeting. I found it quite interesting. Also gathered some information about getting more meat and substance at the committee level, which I'll visit later, and then I'll come back and see you guys. But thank you very much. It's been a pleasure to be here.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, I just realized he was hiding behind Ed Garner, but now that I see the prosecutor there, I need to draw attention to the fact that he was a participant in Dancing with the Local Stars.
Yes.
And I'm not sure, DJ, you got one of the trophies, didn't you?
No, Commissioner Skolnick. I was outdone by some other dancers. No trophies.
He did a fantastic job. Our sheriff did it a couple of years ago, and I didn't draw attention to last year.
Okay. With that, we can have a motion to adjourn.
Move.
We're done.
We've been doing this for 4 years and we make up the list.